Hey, this is Adewale, and we'd like to welcome you to today's edition of the AI Copy Crafters, where we are looking at different techniques to take advantage of the current booming technology in the AI world to help us become better copywriters and better digital marketers. So today we're going to be looking at how to create effective niche related frameworks for writing professional blog posts. I did this video a while ago using a software which I found quite useful at that time before the ChatGPT world, Process Copy, which did quite a good job for its time. Today we're going to be using GPTs to create niche related content. But I guess the first question I want to ask would be, why would I want to use GPTs? Why not just use just a normal chat GPT? The problem is that whilst our current artificial intelligence tools are very capable now, they still don't write blog posts properly. At least not with an easy prompt. And in fact, if you give it a very complex prompt, you still find yourself struggling to get consistently good content out. Now, the content they will give will be good, but it will fall short of a number of things. First of all, you can't ask AI to write you a 1,000 or 2,000 word blog post confidently just with one prompt. And even when they do write that, there are always some telltale signs. They're going to be repeating certain things, repeating certain types of words. For example, using words like individuals, or this is not just a blog post. There are certain phrases that particular ChatGPT just seem to repeat and repeat. And by the time you read it, it starts to get so monotonous that it can put you off. I don't want that for your blog post. So today I'm going to be showing you some strategies to create better blog posts. So first of all, let's just try the old way of doing it, which will be to just ask ChatGPT to write a blog post. So I have here, write me a 2,000 word blog post on using intermittent fasting for weight loss. So in this particular case, the niche is weight loss. So what does ChatGPT do? So ChatGPT goes ahead and writes. Now, when you scan through it, you see that it's picking up the types of headlines that you like to see. But then when you scrutinize it closely, you notice that actually it's not putting things in the correct order. There's some things that feel wrong. So for example, it says here, when to eat. So when you see when to eat, you expect that it's going to be giving you some times and processes for when to eat. But this is what it decides to give me. What you eat during your eating window is crucial. And then it gives me proteins, fibers, healthy fats, and hydration. That's not when to eat. That's what to eat. So you have those kind of errors that keep creeping in when you expect ChatGPT to give you the whole blog post. And in fact, when I counted the amount of words this was, it amounted to 631 words. So it didn't even give me 1,000 words. And so we have this type of problem that just always happens whenever we are asking ChatGPT to write us a blog post. Now, having said that, if you are interested, if you're just looking for a tool that will just help you to write in one click, if you look in the description, you'll see a link to one of my tools, which you can currently get for £10. I call it Private LLM Writer. It helps you to write articles. And it's got one of the modules in the app that can write you a 3,000 word blog post in one go. That particular module is written purely to meet SEO needs. So it's written to give information. It will give strategies. It will give techniques. It will give technical ideas. It will also pull out references that will then enable you to have an authority type blog post, right? So if you're interested in that tool, just look in the description and you can get a link straight to that tool. Okay, so moving on. So now, what do we do? How do we go about making sure we get a good blog post? We could go through what ChatGPT gave us, because if you look at it, The structure of the article is not necessarily a bad structure. These are kind of headlines that you expect to see in an article that's trying to help you understand how to use intermittent fasting to lose weight. Just that we need to make the certain correction. So what you could do could be, after asking you to write the first one, you could then go into each section, make correction, and then pull it out and say, what do you mean by? Now, I use the phrase, what do you mean by, rather than saying expand on, because I find that whenever I say expand on, it's writes in a form that is not as engaging. It just writes in a cookie cutter form that I don't quite like. So if I say, what do you mean by? Now it's going to write it in a way that I would expect to see in a blog post, in an article, a niche article, and then post that bit there. So you could then go through each of the sections like that and say, what do you mean by? Making sure, first of all, that the section is actually responding correctly to the subheading. Or you may need to change the subheading, like what we showed you earlier, where it says when to eat. You can change that to what to eat so that it matches with the heading. And if ChatGPT didn't give you any particular sections you're expecting, you could then ask for it. So this is one way which you could go by writing an article, and it works well. It works well. I find that you could get very good articles following this process. Yes. But what about using the GPTs? So there are a number of ways we could go about using the GPTs. I think the GPTs give us the opportunity to craft articles to perfection. Sadly, still not fully one click. Again, if you're looking for one click blog post, you can use the tool that I've explained that's in the description. But you can still get very good professional articles written using the GPTs. And I'm going to show you one of the GPTs I created for this. So this is available publicly, by the way. Again, you can access the link to this GPT in the description. And with this GPT, all you do is click start, and it just walks you through the process of creating the article. So let's use the same article title and see what we achieve. To use this article GPT, article weaver, you could type in start or just click start. And all it will do is just ask you certain questions and get you to confirm certain things. And in a very painless process, it will get you to write the article. So great, let's dive into crafting an engaging article. First off, what's your seed topic for the article? So the seed topic could be just what you would usually use as a keyword, or maybe a phrase like what we have here, using intermittent fasting for weight loss. So then it's going to ask you, based on what you've given, it thinks that these types of headlines would best suit that type of article. So it's used the curated generating headline style. So pain-free weight loss, 5 key questions you must answer. That's a good headline. So now it's also crafted similar style headline based on the example within the GPT tool. Intermittent fasting, 5 key steps for effective weight loss. Avoid these common intermittent fasting mistakes for better weight loss results. 10 surprising facts about intermittent fasting and weight loss. Pain-free weight loss with intermittent fasting. What you need to know. I like 4, right? So if I go with 4. So now based on that headline, it looks through the data I've given it to determine what will be the best type of article. So problem solution style outline. So it's now going to create an outline using a problem solution style. So now it creates the outline, introduction, highlighting the popularity and misconceptions of intermittent fasting, understanding intermittent fasting, right? So that's now created the outline. Now, you could decide you're not happy with this, but if you're happy with the outline, just say yes. So now it creates the outline. Next step will be to write the introduction. Now, why would we have to write the introduction separately? Again, usually when you see a professional article, you know that the introduction has been crafted, but specially for that article, and it's not a cookie cutter process. So to create the introduction, again, it just looks into the one of the introduction styles that I have saved into the GPT, and it pulls out a style and uses that style to write the introduction. Have you ever thought about losing weight without the strain of rigorous diet or strenuous workouts? Welcome to our world of intermittent fasting, a path to weight loss that's as much about when you eat as it is what you eat. So now you've got an introduction that intrigues the reader much better than what we had before. So let's just look at what introduction we had before. Let me move that, go back to what we had before. Just look at that. Intermittent fasting isn't about what you eat, it's about when you eat. The primary approaches include. That was the introduction it gave me before. Compared to this now you got an introduction that will be able to do its job of grabbing the reader and making the reader more curious to read on. Okay. So if you like that introduction, all you just do is say yes. So now it's going to create the body section. And for the body section, what it's going to do is look through each of the section and then craft a copy that's perhaps the best for that type of content in the outline. So the first section, understanding intermittent fasting. When you hear about intermittent fasting, what comes to mind? Maybe skipping breakfast or not eating. So it just writes a much more engaging body section, whereas what we had before was something like this. Are you seeing what I'm saying? How this approach to writing the content is a lot more effective at getting AI to write the content. Yes, it involves multiple steps of saying yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And that's all you're saying. But then you're choosing whatever you want. So if I like that, I just say yes. If I don't like that, I could say no. Let's just say no, just to show you what will happen. So you said no, then what it will now try again to get something better for this. So it's asking me, what don't you quite like about this section, so that it can know to tailor the content better to you. So let me just come up with something and say it's too shallow. So what you actually have is a real assistant helping you to craft that article. It's not doing it by itself, yes, but it's also not causing you to work too hard. At the same time, it's giving you the opportunity to decide what goes in the article, which does a number of things. One, it helps to make sure that your article is unique. And two, it helps to ensure that you don't have to overthink or work too hard. Okay. So I could just say, yes, I like that. So one of the things that I would do is, as it's creating each section, all you just do is copy each section. So we have the headline that we had. Let's just copy that out. Where's the headline again? Free weight loss. What you need to know. Copy that out. And then I'd copy the introduction, the outline out as well, because that sort of gives me some sort of guidance when I'm also just doing my final editing of the article. So copy the introduction out, and then copy the section that we said we liked out. So again, it wasn't like there was something bad about what it said before. It's just that I wanted to show you what will happen if you said no. And one of the things that's quite interesting that I find is that when I want ChatGPT to give me something really unique, I would just disagree with it by about 4, 5, or 6 times. I would just keep saying, okay, that's too common, that's too mundane, that's too simple, that's actually quite useless. And I would say that about 4, 5, or 6 times. And then after 5 or 6 times, it now starts to give me content that is actually quite surprising and interesting and intriguing. So that's a secret that could help you, making sure each section is also very intriguing. You can copy that out for the section, understanding Intermittent. So I just say yes, and we'll continue to the next section of the article, right? Okay, so this is another hassle with using ChatGPT. As I'm trying to show you this, I ran out of my allowance, so the usage cap. And this is another reason why I decided to create private LLM, which is a software that you can use to talk to open source large language models. So what the idea here is you download the large language model and you download a free software that acts as a server for the large language model. Then you use my app with all the prompts and questions and everything, which has kind of been fine-tuned to make sure the large language model gives you the kind of content you want, which will be quite similar to what you can get out of GPT-4. And because it's running on your computer, it's yours, right? No company can put this kind of usage cap limit on you. So for now, I have to wait until 6:49 a.m. in order to carry on with this video. And I was already in a hyped moment and getting into the content. Yep, that's just the way life is. So actually, whilst we're waiting for them to give me my cap back, what I could do is show you how that GPT was created, so you could actually create it yourself. So what do we have here? So again, you have access to this GPT, to Article Weaver. I'm going to put the link to it in the. I'm going to put the link to it in the description, in the YouTube description. But let me just show you the inner workings of this. So all I'm doing here is I've got it saved into it a number of PDFs. Now the thing that I find is that you can't make the PDFs too long. I tried to put all this into one PDF. ChatGPT just wouldn't have it. I had to break them into different sections. What I'm then doing is getting the AI to reference each PDF for different parts of the article. After telling the AI what it's supposed to be doing. So if you want, just let me know in the comments that you would like a copy of this. It may be that you feel you could do one yourself. What this does, so first of all, it gives ChatGPT a summary of what it wants the GPT to do. So the Article Weaver, with its friendly and casual demeanor, creates a welcoming and relaxing environment for users. It excels in crafting engaging and informative articles across various topics using conversational tone that makes its content accessible and enjoyable. So I like the conversational tone articles more than the professional type articles. So you probably find that most of the things I create for generating articles tend to use a conversational tone. So then after having a brief description of what I'm expecting the GPT to do, I go into instructions. I find that when I'm creating GPTs, it's best to have some sort of numbered or steps process. Because when I do that, the GPT works a lot as I'm expecting it to do. One, I'm telling the GPT to ask for a seed topic. I'm not going to read through all of this now because it's going to take a long time to read through the whole thing. So I've got how many steps here? 12 steps here. And each step is helping me go through the process, making ChatGPT go through the process of writing articles. The way I would write articles, the thinking process I will go through, the different references or the different tools, things I will research, right? I'm getting ChatGPT to go through that process. Now, if you would like a more in-depth tutorial on how to create and how to craft the prompts for the GPTs, please let me know in the comment section and I will gladly do one of that for you. So that's the instructions. And then the instructions, as I said, at different points will dip into the PDF that's titled in a specific way. Let me just read one of the instructions that's looking at the PDF. So for example, based on the headline chosen, look into the outline styles PDF in your knowledge resource and choose an outline style that would work for that title. And you use the instructions in the chosen style to craft a semantically keyword-rich outline for the title, right? And so what ChatGPT then will do is to look for the outline styles, and I'll show you what is in the outline styles quickly. Not that much content in this one. So what I have is one example for each outline. The first one was an outline process I learned from a writer called Nancy Duarte. It just gives you the instruction for the outline. And ChatGPT, if it feels that this outline might work better, it will then produce an example outline based on that. So the other outline is argumentative style outline. Another outline is problem and solution style outline. So just put 3 particular outlines in there. And the reason why I haven't put too much content out, because I find that whenever there's too much content in the PDF, ChatGPT tends to get confused. So I try to limit as much as possible the content. I'll show you another example. So list post headline. So this will be the list post headline example. And there's a reason why I'm using this particular format. Because if you think about the way artificial intelligence writers think, at the base level, they are prediction machines. The predictions and they like to see patterns. When they see a pattern, they try to follow the pattern. So at the very base level. So whenever I want an AI to produce something in a specific way, I give it examples following a specific format. So here I get topic content marketing headline, and I put this 3 hashes there just to help it to know, okay, there's some sort of structure going on here. It doesn't have to be hashes, it could be anything. And then when I finish this set, I put in some styles. Again, what I'm really trying to create is a structure that repeats. Once the AI starts to see the repeating structure, it understands, okay, this is the kind of thing you're trying to get me to create. And that would then help the AI to understand what to give me when it actually starts to write the content. Okay, so that's how we'll do it. And one of the good things with Article Writer, because it has access to web browsing, so you could even in the conversation engage with it to write and tell it to write, to look on the web for references as well. Then it can actually also generate your blog image if you want as well. Okay, so 6:43. Okay, so we should be able to carry on now. So now that I've explained to you what the whole process is, what I'm going to do now is just say yes to everything else so that we can generate through the whole article. And then we'll make a comparison with what we created with just the simple, help me create this. Okay, so here's a bit of a weakness here. It's success stories and evidence. Impact of intermittent fasting. So countless individuals. This is a bit of a cookie cutter. So I could ask it to improve on that. I could say, okay, you haven't really given any real story here. And because beyond weight loss, intermittent fasting has been linked now, it hasn't really given any success story. So I could just tell it, okay, but you have not given any success. Can you find a success story line and write that for this section? So it's one of the benefits of using GPTs is we could actually then ask it to use its online abilities to research a success story about intermittent fasting. So now it's doing its Bing research to see if you can find a successful story. Obviously, just thinking about how that could have been a lot more work for you to go online, find a number of different articles and see if you can find something that fits. Here are several success stories. Stable energy levels. Saint Simon, who has been fasting for 3 years, she reports significant improvement in morning energy and overall energy stabilization. Healthy happy relationship with food. Georgina, Okay. And what's good is it also can include references. Is including the references to these real stories. So even if it's not your story, you can actually find stories online to prove to the reader that what they are reading is very useful for them. Right. So we're going to use that instead. And then across the conclusion again is going to look in the PDFs for conclusion, and from that come up with a conclusion that will work for such an article as this. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to provide a link to an article that also talks you through the process that we followed to generate this article, this niche specific article in a blog post. And that will also have these examples of the articles that was generated in that blog post for your reference. I'll be including the link to this article in the description. So here's the moment of truth. Started a new word processor. Okay. It didn't quite reach 2,000 words. If let's remove this outline from here. 1,706. But what we have is a much more effective article. And we could have done way more words by asking for more detailed outline with more points and more sections, and that would have helped us create more content. But so far, this is a very good article. Starting with, have you ever thought about losing weight without the strain of rigorous diets or strenuous workouts? Welcome to the world of intermittent fasting. Let's just breeze through. Understanding intermittent fasting. It isn't just about weight loss, it's a shift in eating patterns that has deep roots in human history, traditionally used for spiritual and health purposes. Its modern resurgence isn't a surprise given the growing body of scientific research supporting its benefits. Right. Another one, the connection between intermittent fasting and weight loss. When you fast, several things happen in your body on a cellular and hormonal level. One of the primary changes is the lowering of insulin. So yes, we already know that GPT-4 can write nicely, but now with the help of the GPTs, you can get it to write you a really, really good in-depth article that reads well and doesn't really feel. So there you have it. This is how you can use OpenAI's GPTs to help you develop a system that would craft wonderful articles very quickly. Again, you have access to this GPT. The link is going to be in the description. It's called Article Weaver, and you can use it to just craft as many articles as you want. And one of the good things about having GPTs is this is you could call it just a template, but a template that is dynamic, that changes based on what you're thinking, questions you have, things you don't agree with. And because of the dynamic nature of the template, it naturally means that the articles it writes will be unique to you. And obviously, the more you interact, the more unique the outcome is going to be. So just showing you how you can craft expert niche-based blog articles very quickly using OpenAI's GPTs. Again, if you are interested in something that just help you craft an article in one click, you can use the private LLM, which I've put a link to in the description. So private LLM can allow you to write 1,000 articles if you want. Within an hour, you could write 10, 20 articles at a go by just allowing it to run. You just put in your seed word and it's going to come up with semantically related keywords to create article titles. And from those article titles, it's going to write the articles. But you can see a video that demos private LLM in the description. But for now, if you found this video useful, please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. Plus, spread the word so that we can get this channel to grow And as you help me, I help you be better in your content writing efforts. Okay, take care.